All right, welcome to the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is Nick, and with me, as you will realize most of the time, is probably John.
Hey everybody, what's up?
Yeah, so we have decided to launch this podcast as kind of a new thing. We definitely see a need for this type of material, and we have learned from others, and so we just want to help others and have them learn alongside us. And we have over 15 years combined experience between the two of us. John has most of those, and we can tell you exactly what not to do, and maybe a little bit about what you can do to better improve and better help your wedding video business. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, what was cool and what I think is pretty neat, being so involved with the forums and the groups online and being able to connect with so many different people. We hear all the time about different subjects and different things that people are thinking about. And me, as the business-minded guy, I pick up on certain things, and lots of people have been messaging me about different things. I'm sure they do the same with you. So it's just real cool to take what's really current, turn that into a conversation, and put that out there for people to kind of, bounce off them to see what they think.
Yeah, definitely. And so one of the topics that's really been popping up a lot lately, I'm gonna kind of go a different direction with this. We're specifically going to talk a lot about YouTube today, and why John and I are pretty much sole pushers of YouTube. And now we've started. I now upload all of my online presence when it comes to videos on mostly YouTube, and then some on Facebook, but mostly YouTube. But I kind of want to take a back door into that. And I will say that this is really becoming a big deal for me lately, mostly because Vimeo has really started sucking.
100%.
Yeah, it's, just randomly. Now, if you're, not playing by the rules and using unlicensed music and all that stuff, you should probably learn something and change your ways, or, whatever. But it seems that Vimeo just recently started giving people 3 strikes and not even giving them a chance to, prove that they had licensed music, and entire channels were just shut down, where people were losing hundreds and or sometimes thousands of videos that they had done for 5, 10, 15 years. And so I think a lot of people are looking for other outlets. That was one of the reasons that I started using YouTube primarily. Not the biggest reason, but a reason. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've used Vimeo for 10 plus years, and 10 years ago I was using Coldplay or, different songs that were really cool back then. Shout out to Gavin DeGraw. But, all the old school videos that are up from forever ago that I didn't even realize were on there started getting these strikes. So I'm going through and deleting videos and trying to make sure I've downloaded them all. One day I spent, or 1 week I spent 3 days just downloading hundreds of videos from the past that might have had unlicensed music. I think I started using licensed music in 2010 or something, So, I mean, when I was first starting out, when there was no Music Bed or, Artlist or any of those, and so it started, I started looking at it and thinking, I know that Vimeo is real pretty on my website, but, the YouTube thing, there's just so many positives, and I think we'll talk about those today. And so it was just we've also switched, our website, all the new videos we post, we're embedding a YouTube video. We're really pushing hard on YouTube, and our YouTube channel's grown exponentially, in this last year. So.
Yeah, and for me, I'll be honest, and I dragged my foot for a long time because I viewed YouTube as cheap. And I think that might be a common perception from a lot of people, is it just doesn't present as nicely as Vimeo does, especially when you pay for Vimeo and you can, not have any, it can just be really clean and really fresh, and literally you can make it where it just has a play button on there. But one thing that I have noticed over the last year, really, is that the videos that I would upload to Vimeo, it would play for 30 seconds and then it would have to load. And then it would play for a minute and then it would have to load. It was really interrupting the user experience watching it, and that really looked poorly on my business.
Sure. Or just be down one day.
Right. And so that was always really frustrating. And YouTube, for the most part, doesn't have that struggle.
Yeah, I mean, and looking at it, this time last year we had about, I'd always put our videos on YouTube, but never pushed them or anything. So I just was like, how does YouTube even work? I really started doing some research. I know we were talking about this before we hit record, but just on like the power of YouTube, it being the number 2 search engine behind Google, and
Let
Google.
me
Yeah, go ahead.
let me just throw these stats. I was looking it up this morning. Okay. Google is the number 1 search engine in the world, where it gets 1.6 billion unique hits every month. And yes, that's a lot. Well, the number 2 is Bing, and it gets 400 million. So that's a huge discrepancy. Facebook is the largest social networking site in the world. They claim that they have 2 billion registered users. YouTube has 1.8 billion registered users. So, I mean, those numbers are so close whenever you get into, that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of people there. Now, the thing where that changes is that, as you probably may know, Google owns YouTube. So when it comes to uploading videos, Google is going to push and promote their own brand versus someone else's brand. Like, when was the last time that you went to Google and you typed in you were looking for a video and something other than YouTube popped up? I mean, it happens very rarely. It can happen, but I'm just saying, when it comes to videos, YouTube is the stuff that pops up. I was looking up some other statistics. Now, this one is a little bit old, okay? But in April of 2014, Vimeo claimed that they got 170 million unique visits for video in a month. Now, compared to now, whenever YouTube is in the billions of users. Now, that 1.8 registered users, that doesn't even count for people like my mom, who happens to click on a video and it takes her to YouTube, and she doesn't even have one.
Sure, there's trillions of views every month or more.
Oh, yeah. So I say all of this to say that it makes sense to promote your business and promote your brand where the people are. That's why I am a number 1 big pusher for YouTube, and I'm also a big pusher for Facebook, because that's where the people are.
And that's what it comes down to. And I think that a lot of, with our first podcast, just like talking about what's, going to be sexy to other videographers, or what's going to get you in front of potential brides. And so, like, Vimeo, the only brides that I know of that are watching Vimeo videos are watching them that are embedded into your site. But I do know that brides get on YouTube and they search their venue, they search different places. Yes, Nick?
I went to a retreat. It was a venture retreat last year, and there was a girl that came, and she said her business was super unique, where she actually goes to college campuses and she takes pictures of sorority girls, like, their sorority, like, group photo and then groups of photo. Anyway, she was like, she made gobs of money just doing this. Like, it was ridiculous. I mean, in a good way for her. But she goes, you guys want to know something ridiculous and crazy? I can't tell you how many times I go to these sorority houses and the girls say, I want to cry. Type in wedding video on YouTube. And there's this room full of 10, 15, 20, 30 college-age girls that are sobbing watching YouTube, because they're like, that's what we want to do for fun tonight, is cry watching wedding videos on YouTube.
Yeah, it's so personal, and it's their own reality show that they can choose the content. And obviously you realize with Facebook and Instagram, and they're pushing video, and how great is that as video people, wedding filmmakers, we have this content that people are actually searching for. And so, like, if you're not showing up on YouTube, like, people are going to be looking up, emotional wedding film, or, wedding film that makes me cry, or, whatever. And they're not going to find that on Vimeo. It's not what Vimeo is made to do. YouTube's a social network, and Vimeo is a video platform that, from what I'm hearing, might not even be focusing on that anymore. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of reasons now, I mean, to go that route. And this time last year, I had 200 subscribers on my channel, and I just was doing research and looking through and was like, if I can really make YouTube pop, I can use that to get more people, looking my direction. And I've done lots of different things, but as of this morning, I was at 4,569 subscribers, which isn't a ton, but those are all organic, real people that like watching wedding films. So every single time now that I post a wedding film, 4,569 and counting people get an email saying, emotional wedding film, click here, and they watch it, and then it improves my search rankings, and then I show up first. And after like 6 months of really working at like a system to really show up on YouTube, and not like a weird system that like we're going to teach you or anything like that, but just started really working on YouTube. After about 6 months, about 1 or 2 out of every 5 inquiries would be like, hey, I found you on YouTube. I was searching Google and your film showed up. I love your films. I've been subscribed now. I'm watching them. And it's like, it just took time. And so it's been pretty cool to watch that. And I know that I've been pushing YouTube towards, Nick over at Wild Oak Films and saying, dude, you got to start pushing this. What do you think of, should we change the videos on our website? How should we title these? And we've just been working back and forth to like really grow our subscriber base. So it's been really, really cool.
Yeah, and I will say, so whenever I launched our YouTube channel, it was, I want to say, it was right after that workshop I went to. So it was around December of 2017 when I uploaded. And I wanted to kind of have both of like kind of educational stuff that I was starting to doing, but also wedding videos. And then I kind of realized I won't be reaching the audience that I want to reach if I do that. Because then I'm going to split and there's going to be like, okay, so I made a YouTube video last year, and it was how to remove the wobbly of warp stabilization. Okay, how to remove the wobble. And I got like 200 subscribers on my YouTube channel like that because I posted the video in, Facebook wedding video forums, and I grew, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. But then I started thinking, what's the purpose of this channel? And I know all of us want to be, educators. Well, maybe not all of us, but a lot of us kind of seem to go that route. We want to be educators because we know that there is money in doing that kind of stuff. But as I started thinking about it more, the people that I wasn't getting many views on my videos and that kind of stuff because the people that were receiving it were other wedding video professionals, and most of us don't care to watch other people's work.
No, hardly ever.
Right. Every now and then I'll watch one that just blows you away, but most of the time you're super excited about what you did and you can't believe that no one else wants to watch it. But at the same time, they're like,
right,
whatever. So
we get it.
So that was one of the reasons why John and I started this YouTube channel, How to Film Weddings, and now a podcast, so that we could do that content there, but then focus our own YouTube channels to the content that we want to get to the people that we want to get, and that is brides. And I started tracking my stats at the beginning of August, and on August 10th, I had 271 subscribers on YouTube. Today, what is this? End of September, I have almost 500.
So like more than double.
Close to doubling. And I will say that I think, and I don't have any data to back this up, but I think your first 48 hours that a video is on kind of dictates how well it's going to do in searches. I don't have any hard facts on that, but it's just kind of something that I've seen. So what I have started doing is, with the Facebook model, you're like, hey, couple, let me upload your video to Facebook, and then I'll tag you in it and you share it because you want people to see your video. Well, Facebook knew that people were doing that, so then they just cut it with the algorithm. So now what I do, and yes, it's not going to reach as many people because it's an outside link and Facebook doesn't like that kind of stuff. But as soon as I upload a video, it's set to private because I want my couples to see it before anyone else. And I send it to them, And then I say, whenever you can, get a time, share this with friends and family and send them the link. And then as soon as they put it on Facebook or made it social, then I make the video actually live. And that has seemed to be a really good trick, so to speak. And then I can share it on, my social stuff. And I still do upload the videos to Facebook because I think that's important as well. But like here, I uploaded a video on Sunday night. The couple put it online Monday morning. I made it live Monday morning. And as of today, 4 days later, it has almost 4,500 views, which for me as a channel with less than 500 people, that's big numbers. And I think, and again, and I have no hard data to prove that, I think those first 24 to 48 hours are really influential in kind of seeing how your video is going to do. And I think that that's a way to kind of boost it early, is to have people share their video, their YouTube link.
Yeah. And I think this might be helpful for the listeners, and you can shout me down if I'm not preaching good, Nick, but I think it'd be cool if I walked through just a practical step-by-step, you kind of did with how you're doing it. I've learned a few things too, just about how I upload, when I upload, what works best for me. I would love to just kind of practically go through kind of a couple of the things that I do that have been really helpful that I think will help everybody. So I don't do Vimeo anymore. We canceled our account. But on YouTube, what I do once I get the video exported, and I would recommend Matt Johnson's video for the export settings because it really has upped the quality of the exports that I have for YouTube. So I export in that quality. I just have that saved on my Premiere. But as soon as I upload it, I do a few things. When it comes to the actual title of the film, I want to talk about that for a sec. The description of the film, and then the tags. Those are very, very important, and I think a lot of us just have no idea what to do with our title, our description, or our tags.
So-and-so's wedding day was so amazing, and I could feel the love.
The end. You have to get into a mindset, and if you're not a good writer, I recommend finding somebody that can help you write. But my mindset is, what is going to draw the viewer's attention, not what is going to impress a wedding filmmaker, because I'm not trying to attract Nick to watch my film. I'm grateful if you do, but I don't want you to subscribe to my channel and not watch my films. I want people that want to watch wedding films. So the first thing, the title. Now, people will say, oh, you have clickbait titles, or that's too clickbaity, or, you got to be true to you and you got to be honest to you. But I always find some aspect of the day that is intriguing and will draw somebody in, and I will use that as part of my title. I also will always put the wedding venue in the title. So what I usually do, so the wedding film I posted last night, the bride's dad has passed away, and she wrote a letter to him on the wedding day. It was really emotional. And I posted something like, bride's dad has passed away. She wrote him a letter on her wedding day. And then I said Mayo Hotel wedding video. And so that's it. I might have thrown like a crying emoji in there, to each his own. But like, I just want it to be something like, oh my goodness, I want to watch this film by the title, not just Cynthia and Jeremy's wedding film at the Mayo. Like, people they're going to scroll by. So go ahead.
Yeah. When it comes to title, so the number one most important thing when it comes to the keywording of your video, if you don't know this, is the title. Okay? Bill and Sarah's wedding, no one's going to find
plan. Yeah.
I mean, people just aren't going to find that. So, yes, something that is captivating, something that will draw people in, something which, yes, it is kind of clickbaity. I mean, if you think of it that, but at the same time, it's also interesting, and it gives people a reason as to maybe why they might want to watch it.
Right. And I'm not going to be like, click this film to see ... like trying to like really pull people by clickbaiting.
It's not like one of those things where like the most emotional wedding film ever, and all that was in it was a baby that was crying because he was mad. Like that's
one thing I was going to say is that, like, if your title rings true to your video, the people that want to click that are going to want to subscribe to you. If you do a clickbaity title that sucks and then somebody starts to watch it, they're going to watch for 5 seconds, click away, and it's going to be bad for you. There's no shortcut. So the video I posted last night, the title, I went through. Then I go onto my notes before I upload and I type out like a story. I actually get really real and emotional and raw and type out exactly how I felt about the wedding. I type out, I try to include the venue name a few different times. And then at the end of the story, which is usually 300 to 500 words, I will put the team and I'll put Redeem Productions video, Redeem Productions photo, Mayo Hotel venue, and I will go through and I'll list all the vendors. And then after that, I will put in some bit.ly links to my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the different locations. And then from there, I've got like a big story that says the Mayo Hotel, the venue, 3 to 5 times. It talks about the wedding. It talks about the bride. It talks about emotions. YouTube loves when there's like text, just like a blog loves that. And I use this same text for the YouTube video as I do for my blog, as I do for my Facebook. So it's all uniform where they can read a little bit of the story. And this story, for last night's wedding, it started out and it said, when you have a few minutes to watch this, you might want to grab a tissue. You might not want to be watching at work, something like that, because you're going to probably cry. Was kind of this film might make you cry. And then I start out with, you see, Cynthia's dad's passed away. She wrote a letter, and I'm drawing them in with that. If they like to read, I'm trying to draw them in to where maybe they click that and want to watch it that way. So that's the title, and then the description or the story. Making sure that the third part, the keywords, the tags, making sure that they are included in some of that story. And so what I've done and been very successful with the assistance of TubeBuddy, which we can link. Are there affiliate links to that thing? If not, they owe us some money. But TubeBuddy, there's like I pay a $20 a month membership, but it goes through and tells you different things about your YouTube. Go ahead.
One thing about TubeBuddy is if you are new and you have less than 250 subscribers, if you have kind of a low number, they basically give you the first year for like 60% off. Like if you have a low number subscribe count. So if you're, thinking, hey, I really want to up my YouTube game, my channel's really small, I'm not getting any views. If you go to TubeBuddy, you can get it cheaper. You can get it cheaper because you don't have as many subscribers.
Right. And so the tags, I will go through and I think, like, what would a bride be searching that could maybe show them this video? And YouTube is smart, so they're not, you can't just type in wedding videography. There's millions of people that have used that tag. It's going to be hard for that one to show up, number one. I mean, if you do, great, but most of the time that's not going to happen. But if I type in Tulsa, Oklahoma wedding video, if I type in the Mayo Hotel wedding video, and what I do with each venue, so I'm saying the Mayo Hotel a lot of times, sorry about that, but so last night my tags are Mayo Hotel wedding, Mayo Hotel weddings, Mayo Hotel Oklahoma, Mayo Hotel Tulsa, Mayo Hotel Tulsa wedding video, and I just go through and I find all these different variations to where I use all 500 characters that I can, and then that way I have a bunch of different tags of things that people might, be looking for. If it is an emotional wedding, I might say like bride writes letter to her dad and put that as a tag and see if that, would show up, or army wedding, or, like military wedding. The more general that you put your tags, though, the more that people won't find it. So that's just something to be thinking about. But those are the three things, the title, the body, and then the tags. Those are the main things that you have to be paying attention to.
Cool thing about TubeBuddy, what it does is let's say, you can write out, like if you type in wedding video, and it can tell you in the tag, it gives you two kind of parameters with that. It gives you search volume, and it also gives you competition. So it gives you kind of a meter on if you should use that as your keyword. Like I know wedding video or wedding videography, just those plain, it gives you a score out of 100. And I think last time I looked, wedding video was like an 11 out of 100 that I should use that because there are so many videos with that tag and so many people are using it, even though it has a lot of search volume. So you need to be kind of selective. So what John was saying is huge. Tag your city. And if you live in a smaller city, great. Like if you live in New York, maybe that's not a great thing to tag. But I'm saying your city and your venue. Because those are the things that maybe when people are looking for inspiration or ideas or whatever, that's what they're going for. I know that if you type in, for right now, if you type in Kansas wedding video, at least when I do it on my, thing, like John, maybe John can do it right. I think I had 6 of the top 10 videos in Kansas wedding video the last time I looked. So it's all, and it helps you. And again, doing YouTube is much like SEO. I mean, that's what it is, but it takes a long time of doing little bits every day. Like you can't just start a channel and do this. You have to optimize it all of the time so that you can consistently rank and be made higher. One thing I have found out is whatever title that you actually hit publish on, you need to keep that title.
Yeah, don't change that up.
Because I stupidly did that. I had one that was tracking really well, and I listed their names for whatever reason because I couldn't think of anything, even though their wedding day was like all sorts of amazing and whatever. And then as soon as I changed the title, like the views like instantly stopped. And so you need to kind of think about it a little time. Take some time for your title. Another thing that I have found very helpful is YouTube is actually really smart. And, so if you say, oh, this is a wedding video, but the entire thing is about cars, because you know that you can rank really well in that situation. So YouTube, by hearing what you talk about, like Google knows that this thing,
it knows all.
It does, isn't really about wedding videos, even though you're listing it as that. So one thing that I have gone and done is I make sure that all of the closed captioning is in on all my videos. Do you do that?
I don't.
You should do that.
I need to. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a pain
Makes
because
sense.
The built-in program for YouTube is, I would say 85% good. But
similar to Facebook.
Right.
Yeah.
But you actually have to sit down and watch it and change it.
Type out, yeah.
Or hire someone else to do that kind of stuff. But again, with the words that are using, and it knows that this is a
right. It's
wedding
depicting what's going on.
Right. And especially with the words. And anyway, so that's another practice that I do is after I uploaded it, within that day or the next day, I will add the closed captioning stuff to it.
So a couple things. You do show up like number 2, 3, and 4 when you type in Kansas wedding video. Good job. That was an open loop in my brain that I needed to make sure over there that it was closed off. But like what you were talking about, like just about not changing the title, all those kinds of things are very important. And it takes just a minute to get the hang of it. But, if you are thinking while you're editing, like this could be a really good title, just have a note on your desktop that you can type in different titles or different things. But again, I'm always thinking in reverse engineering, where's the bride or a planner or, what is going to draw them in? And that makes me think of the next couple things, and on TubeBuddy, download it, do a trial, whatever. But like when you put in those tags, you can, once it's published, if any of your keywords rank, there'll be a little green number next to the word, and you can hit sort, and it'll sort the keywords in order of, if it's ranking number 1 on the first page, or 2 or 3 or 4, and you might get like 5 or 6 1s and a couple of 8s and 2s and 10s or whatever. You hit sort, and it goes, and it puts them all in order. and even the order of your tags matter. Do you do that?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. So it's pretty simple. Once it's all installed, it just kind of automatically tells you like, did you do this? Did you do that? And so those are the main three things about like the titles and the tags and stuff. It will also recommend that you do cards throughout the wedding, the video, those little, pop-up banners that show up, And so I'll always do a couple of those, and I try to time them where they're not distracting to the film. But YouTube likes those, and they want people to get a little ad in the middle of the video to click and save for later. They just want you. That's what YouTube's using as a metric. They're not even looking at views. They're looking at how much view percentage you're getting. And so, I found the sweet spot, if you make a 10-minute or 12-minute video, those are the ones that are getting like a lot of.
There has been a ton of research on YouTube and the ones that, from a monetization standpoint. No, let's just say this. From a watch time standpoint, people typically only watch 25 to 35% of anything on YouTube. Now, the thing is, if it's a 3-minute something, they're only watching a minute. If it is a 30-minute something, they're watching 10 minutes. Like there is really no rhyme or reason why that is. YouTube does like longer videos because it keeps people on their platform longer. And so if you're one of those people that, because I know John, a majority of your edits are 8 to 10 minutes, right? I mean, most of them
they're 10 to 12 minutes. Okay. Yeah, 8 to 12.
And most of mine are in the 5.5 minute range. So YouTube likes John more than me because his videos are longer.
And because I'm very, very good looking. It's just my life. So thinking about that though, and thinking about the length of the videos, obviously I'm not going to make a video that's longer than it needs to be, like we talked about in the first podcast. But it's definitely one of those things where like, instead of trying to figure out a quick, easy way around it, it's like, what if you actually made really good content, distributed it really well, titled it really well, and took the extra 5 to 10 minutes to like tag it to show up to people that are looking for videos in Kansas or looking for videos at the venue that you were at. So if I'm a bride and I'm getting married, I'm going to type in Kansas wedding video or Kansas City or whatever venue, you're getting married at. And that's what really matters, is that you're giving real, good, relatable content that is easy for people to find. And so if you're doing all these things right, you're going to start showing up in people's suggested feeds. And so YouTube is growing a ton, and people are using it as an app, on their phone, and there's just suggested videos based on what you've watched. So most of my views come from the suggested videos. And I will say since April, I've had 3 videos now, or 2 videos past 100,000. One of them has 222,000 views. One has 130,000 views. And then I posted a video 4 weeks ago that has 90,000 views. I posted a video a week ago that has 37,000 views. And so like more and more of those videos are just getting, it took me 3 months to get my first video that had 100K. And then it took me 2 months to get my second video to have 100K. And it's going to hit almost 100K in a month.
Yeah, similar, just kind of lesser. Because John, I mean, your channel is about 10 times the size of mine. I have almost 500. You have almost 5,000. So on those same numbers, just a little bit smaller, it took me 9 months to get my first video to hit 10,000 views. And then just this last week, I had another one in a month hit 10,000 views. And the one that I uploaded on Monday is, if it tracks this way, and usually after the first week it kind of dies down, but if it tracks this way, in 10 days it will hit 10,000 views. So
which is huge.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think when it comes to YouTube especially, there's this big snowball effect. And it takes a while. It's kind of a slow and steady, like very few channels and people who make content like this, they just blow up overnight. Like that happens to very few. And so just be consistent at it. That's the thing. And check the keywords and do that. And we're kind of at a disservice because I know that YouTube does like regularity. when it comes to uploading. But unless that you know that you can put out a video at noon every Monday or, something like that, then you're just going to have to deal with that.
Well, a couple other things too that I was going to add about this whole thing is basically the little things you can do with inside the app before you actually give it to your bride. The other things besides the cards that I do, in a 10-minute video, I usually do 3 or 4 cards. The end screen in annotations tab, there's a tab in YouTube where you can set a template and have a little bubble with your logo at the end, as well as a link to another video. You're always wanting to keep people like continuing down the funnel of watching more and more of your films, and YouTube wants you to do that. So if you have those set up, YouTube will show you more. And so like having those things set up really get more and more people. If you're doing all the things right and you do it consistently over time, you're going to start growing a channel. And I'm not really super worried about having like 1 million followers. I really don't care. It'd be nice, like vanity wise, like I could do some really cool humble brags. But what I care about is people finding my video, reaching out to me and booking me for their weddings. And that has started to happen quite often, like we talked about kind of at the first of today. But like I'm having 1 or 2 out of 10 now say they found me on YouTube. And I find that to be very interesting. And as these videos go, for me, the ones that have caught fire, so to speak, went viral for me, are getting somewhere between 3 to 10,000 views a week at this point. And so if 10,000 people are watching it, probably 20 to 30 people are subscribing out of that. And those are people that next time I post a video and it snowballs. And so that's something to me that like you do all those things right. Now you're ready to distribute it. So we did all the things beforehand. We can talk about bookings or people booking us, but I want to talk, I know you kind of talked about it, about like what I do once I'm done with a film. And it's very fresh on my mind because I finished one yesterday. So I think that it's different for everybody. But what I do throughout the editing process, and we've talked about this on a couple of the videos, but I send screen grabs or iPhone pics, or I'm just texting with the bride and groom saying, oh my goodness, your film's coming together. So I know that they're interacting with me. I'm not sending them a text when it's done saying, hey, it's done, do you mind sharing this? But I've spent the last week or 2 editing the film, and they've gotten a text or 2 a day from me just showing them parts of the behind the scenes. But yesterday I sent them a message and was like, hey, tonight's the night you're going to be getting your film. I'm super excited. I have a text message that has like some bullet points that I send to them. Hey, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to turn down all distractions. I want you to sit down on the couch and I want you to click this link. Number 2, I want you to pop open a bottle of wine, optional. Number 3, and I walk them through, this is what you should do whenever you get your film. And then at the end of that text, it says, I want you to watch it first and I want you to share it with your friends and family. When everybody you know has seen it, let me know and I'll post the video. I am foreshadowing that they're not going to have any changes, number 1. But number 2, I'm teaching them. I'm not asking them, can they post it? I'm saying, when you do post it. So Cynthia and Jeremy, my bride and groom from last night, I said, it's about to be there. Check your inbox. Yay. When it, be sure to share this tonight and tomorrow with your family because I'm planning on posting this tomorrow afternoon. I want your family and friends to see it first. And so I had been doing that with my Facebook, like a Vimeo private link, and it would get like 100 views on Vimeo, but it didn't do anything for me. It didn't get me any traction or anything. So now last night I sent them the private video or whatever. They watched it and said, oh my goodness, yeah, we love it. And so I made it public. So I posted it. And then I said, be sure to share it tonight because I'm going to post it tomorrow. They both shared it. And this morning when I woke up, it has 1,500 views. And it's like not a ton, and I might refresh just to see if any more. But like in that first, it's a 13-minute video. It's got, how many did I say views it had? It's got a little over 1,500. But still, like in the first, 10, 12 hours since it's been up, it's got 1,400 views. Most likely it's going to be something that starts to pick up in the next few days. I haven't posted their video yet from my page to YouTube. I haven't pushed it or anything like that, but like they have done I've done everything that I could do on this thing to make it where it could catch. So that's the process that I do. I'll be posting the YouTube link as well as the Facebook link. I'll upload it to Facebook because Facebook wants it upload, but later I'll post it to YouTube as well on my Facebook page and try to promote it. And I don't do any paid advertising, anything like that, but it just continues to show up and get new people interested. I forgot two things. Number one, sorry, there's a lot to go with this, but number one, the slate that you post for the film, the thumbnail. So Nick wants to talk about that.
Yeah,
I'll let you talk about that.
Okay. Here's the thing that I don't know. I am big on uniformity when it comes to that kind of stuff. And
I could see that in you.
yeah, and all I mean by uniformity is if you go to my YouTube channel and you look at my videos, I have the exact same nameplate. It has their names across. I have a little triangle with this little like water color kind of thing overlay, and that goes right in the middle. So every single video has that. And then I have a picture of the couple, something like that actually looks good. I think the worst thing that you can do whenever you upload a video is not create some kind of thumbnail, because your video might actually be really good, but if you don't spend the time to make a thumbnail to put on it, people won't click on it because the thumbnail looks bad.
100%. 100%.
Same thing. Also do that for Facebook. Also do that anywhere you upload anything. Create a thumbnail and upload it. Yeah.
You keep talking about your YouTube channel. I keep talking about mine. This is not. Please don't subscribe to us and don't watch our films. But if you're listening to this and you want to check out our YouTube channels, mine is just youtube.com/redeemedproductions. And yours is youtube.com/wildoakfilms.
That's correct.
So please don't subscribe to me if you're not going to watch every one of my films, love it, and comment on it. But so the slate, the thumbnail, I have just a Photoshop document, 1920 by 1080, that every single time I go in. And what I do, I don't have a uniform logo or anything with their names on it. It seems like just a little bit too much work for what I'm wanting to try to do with my vibe. But all of my slates, all of my thumbnails, I want it to personally brand my weddings to look like they're expensive. So if you look through my thumbnails, it's like, whoa, that was at a really nice venue. Or I'll try to find a shot of the couple in front of like some ridiculous flowers. So that way people are like, whoa, that's a really nice wedding.
Right.
I want to watch that.
Yeah.
And that's not, you can't always do that.
No. And mine, I'm kind of we're trying to go for kind of the like real emotional, raw kind of feeling. And so if you kind of look through ours, that's more of the vibe that you get, which is just our different approaches to how.
Right, and be true to you as a filmmaker. You don't want to be, showing. The worst, like Nick is saying, is if it's just an auto-generated thumbnail. It just says, I don't care, don't watch my film, And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about, just on my process that I've been doing that's gotten lots of traction, just like Facebook or Instagram, interaction is really important. And so if you just post a video and just check back in on it in a week, that's way worse than one of the things TubeBuddy tells you to do is post a comment and pin a comment to the top. So as soon as I post a video, I will ask a question, I will pin it to the top, and I will make sure that if anybody responds at all, I respond with another question back to them, so they might comment again. And so I want to create a conversation with these people. So someone might say, oh my goodness, beautiful wedding film. And it's like, oh, thank you so much, Sharon. And then I'm like, where are you watching from? And she might say, I'm watching from Toledo, Ohio. Shout out to Toledo, Ohio people. And I'm like, oh, Ohio, cool, LeBron James, sorry about that. Or, I'm trying my best to like create interaction. And so one of my favorite things to post, and this is the How to Film Weddings freebie tip. You ready for it? And I know you know this because I told you this one, but I just put as my question, or my comment, it'll be like, do us a favor. It takes 2 seconds. Let me know where you're watching from. It means the world to me. Yes, I'm talking to you. And like something like that. Like, let me know where you're watching from. And one of the films for Paige and Andrew that has 90,000 views, 88,000 views as of this morning, that question has like 93 people have commented on it. And so like I'm able to see, oh, you're watching from Turks and Caicos, or oh, you're watching from South Africa, or China, and I'm like, that's so cool. And I'm making all these relationships with people and commenting. And the more that I comment and that they comment and that I comment, YouTube is like, wow, this is a video that people care about.
Right. The algorithms that exist in Facebook, that exist in Instagram, also exist in YouTube as well. So they like to see interaction, and not just liking, like they like to see comments and responses and comments and all of that stuff. So if people are commenting on your video, you should be responding. I know there's some people that like think it's beneath them to respond to comments or something like that. Like if people are commenting, you should be responding, because then it lets YouTube know that you're involved and you care. When it comes back to TubeBuddy, we've talked about all these things that you need to do. Well, whenever you set it up, there's actually like a 10-step guide for each video that you can check off, where it says compelling title, interesting description, share this to Twitter or Facebook or some other place, keywords. It has all of these things that you can do so that you can optimize your video the best. When it comes to the description, one thing is whenever you open up a YouTube video, I think it only shows you initially, without hitting the show more button, the first 2 lines. So you might write this big description, but if people are just stumbling upon their video, they only see the top 2 lines. Like they see the title and then a couple lines of text, and then it says show me more.
Yeah, it just depends on where you're watching from. So you're watching from a desktop, it just shows the title.
Yeah. So I will say that I wrote up this little thing, and it says something along the lines of Wild Oak Films is a wedding videography company. We specialize in Kansas weddings and something. Contact us here, and then I have a bit.ly link. So that way, like that's like the very first thing. If someone's like looking, not just to cry a bunch of sorority girls, on a Friday night or whatever they do, but if someone's actively looking, give them a quick way so that they can contact me through my website, and right there at the top without them having to dig and search a little bit.
And that's why the title, I think so, is really important to kind of describe what it is they're going to get into. Because if it just says Jimmy and Susie's wedding film, instead of your fake couple's Bill and Sarah, mine's Jimmy and Susie, so if that's all it says, but if it says something compelling, that made me think of something too, and I'm sorry to everybody for ping-ponging back and forth, but like YouTube is a big animal. Even if somebody comments on your video and they're like trolling you, or they suck and it doesn't make any sense. Like somebody commented the number 8 the other day on one of my films, and I responded because it interacted. So I hope it helps. But I was like, 8, huh? 8 times you watched this film? 8 times that you went to the bathroom today? 8 times, and I just responded, and several people like that comment and see my personality, that I'm goofy. One lady commented the other day, it was like, that dress is too low cut. She should be ashamed of herself. She's not a Christian. So, like, whoa, that's pretty intense. You're crazy, lady. But anyway, so like I commented and was like, wow, to have the time to do that, you must really need some friends. But anyway, that's another tip. So all of that to be said, and I don't want to go too much longer, but all of that to be said is like, why am I caring about this? And the reason, like we started the conversation, the reason I'm doing this and putting so much attention into this is because it is making me money, and it is making people see that I exist. I've been contacted for weddings like in Florida and in Kansas City. Sorry.
I literally, as we started recording this, I literally got an inquiry for Florida for next year because they found me on YouTube. A guy in Kansas just got an inquiry in Florida.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And it's like the power of YouTube, there's no, boundary. They're worldwide. And so like just taking that extra time, you're going to show up on search engines better. You're going to get more people seeing your videos, and that's all I care about is real people subscribing to me. I don't care if I get another subscriber. I'm happy to get more, but the main thing is it's people that care about what I'm doing, that are going to fall in love with my brand And that's why I'm YouTubing and why I care. I checked my statistics and I posted them as a humble brag in the group yesterday. But in the last 28 days, I have 1.47 million minutes of watch time. So people have watched 1.47 million minutes of my videos in the last month. And 435,574 views, and I've gotten 930 new subscribers. Up until March, until my first video that really started getting big, I was getting somewhere between 25 to 40 subscribers a month. So November I had 200 subscribers, and then it was like December I had 240, and then like 350, and then 410, and then 560, and then and then it was like one video just really clicked, the one that has 220 some odd thousand views, and it's like that film got me moving. It was like, but people might not have subscribed to me if I had no videos. And that's why you just have to keep putting in the work and keep putting the videos out there. Go all Gary Vaynerchuk on people and like really just continue to produce high quality work and to do this. And it may be 12 months before any of your videos catch.
And here's another thing that I kind of did earlier in this year when I had a lull, like a 4-month lull where I didn't have much to upload. Since my YouTube channel was pretty new, I actually went back and I started uploading some of my favorite older videos to YouTube, just so, now those ones have less views because I wasn't like, hey, couple, share this video that's now on YouTube. And if they did that, like, oh, I've seen this before, why do I need to watch? Like that kind of stuff. So, but that is a way to do it. If you're trying to build your channel, you like don't have much of a presence on there, you don't have much on there, I would space out your uploading. I would not upload 10 videos in one day just so your channel has to. I would literally do it at the most 2 a week, like a Monday and a Thursday or something like that, to slowly build that way, to populate it, because I think from stuff I've read and I've seen and talked to other YouTubers, 10 videos in one day is actually seen as one video to the search engine, to YouTube, whereas twice a week, oh, this person is active and going into that kind of stuff. So anyways, we have kind of covered a lot of just information that we do and why we use YouTube and why we like YouTube. I'm totally on board with John, and my wife, she's kind of like, when I say, hey, this video has 10,000 views, and she's like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, that's neat, but why does that matter? And I'm like, well, 10,000 eyeballs on it means that more potential brides are watching our video, which means that more potential brides are going to contact us to film their wedding. Like, that's the biggest thing. And I'm with you. Yes, I would love to have, 10, 50, 100,000 subscribers on our channel or something like that. But at the end of the day, I would much rather have 500 subscribers, but I get, a few contacts each month that actually book me to film their weddings, rather than just 100%. Having all these people watch it in their dorm rooms and cry.
Yep. One thing you made me think of. This is going to be the problem with our podcast.
I think
it's just going back and forth. But if you don't have a ton of content, when you're editing, be thinking of different moments that happen throughout the day that could be something that could go viral. Like if a first look is perfect and the groom melts and he says the thing that every bride wants to hear and it's just perfectly shot and perfectly lit, whatever, make that a 2-minute film and say put it on the internet and on YouTube and say, this is a first look that will make you melt. That is true. Or if the groom starts rapping to his bride, or, you see these videos that are, the bridesmaids dances or whatever. Don't try to copy other people's stuff, but like if something's happening that's unique, grab a great slate, make that into a video, send it to your bride, even if they're from forever ago. Hey, I made this for you just because you guys had such a cool moment. I just wanted you to have it. They might share it. That gives you more content. You don't just have to think in the box of like, the only thing I can post is my feature films. The only thing I can post is this. You can be looking for moments to do that. So always be posting that content. And as of now, like, I mean, we don't really see any other reason to embed or upload to our site to any other, platform besides YouTube. And we're putting a lot of our eggs in that basket.
And I will say, if you're like you want to, just this first look will make you cry as the title of the video, and you just don't like how that looks when you embed it on your website, whatever. Just search around. There are code, you can put in some coding whenever you upload videos to your website to remove that kind of stuff. I played around with that for a little while, and then I just realized that I didn't want to mess with it. But if you kind of Google and search around, you can look for some coding to kind of alter how you embed your videos into your website. If you're interested in doing that kind of thing, just food for thought. So, well, we're coming up on an hour. I think we've had a lot of
We've
good
covered
stuff.
Everything.
Yeah, you don't
entitles.
need to know anything else about YouTube at all forever. You got it all right here. So we want to thank you guys for listening to our podcast here. It's a fun thing to do, and let us know. Follow us on YouTube or look us up on Facebook or something. Ask us questions. If you want to talk more about this YouTube stuff, we'd be happy to answer any questions or thoughts that you might have. And I guess until next time, see ya.